Hello, wealthy women. It is Coach Tamara here from Wealthy Woman Every Day. And I honestly am so very proud to share this next interview with you. I'm going to introduce you to Katherine in a minute. Her work is so sensitive and important. It is a situation where many people find themselves in with loved ones suffering with dementia, and how that can be such a tough experience and so many emotions, and how do people go about making this transition easier and more helpful. Well, Katherine has created an, a beautiful business that helps others that are going through this. And I think it is just so valuable what she's doing in the world, because at one of life's tougher times, it's so nice to be able to know how to navigate that. And she's just an amazing human being. And I just really am so thankful that she's here. And I'm going to turn the camera and mic over to her right now so she can tell you more about her and her work and what she's doing in this beautiful world and how she's helping others. So, Katherine, go ahead and take it away and tell us a little bit about your big why and how you're doing your work and how you're going about helping others.
Thank you, Tamara. Well, as she said, I'm Catherine. I'm Catherine Knight. I have Parents Dementia Journey. And the way I came up with the Parents Dementia Journey was about 7 years ago, my mother was diagnosed with dementia. And we thought, oh, we're just taking in this older lady who we love. We're going to take care of her. And then all of a sudden we learned very quickly it's a different world when you're taking care of a loved one with dementia than you're taking care of somebody just getting a little bit older. She was a matriarch of the family, but suddenly she was asking for food every 15 minutes. She was getting up in the middle of the night and couldn't find the bathroom. She was asking the same question over and over again. And all of a sudden, we were sitting here going, what did we get ourselves into? And I had to go to work the next day, but I started getting nervous leaving her home. So I had to hire a caregiver. And then I started thinking, I woke up one night and I thought, oh my gosh, what is my job? My job is to save companies. So why don't I save myself? Why don't I save myself? Because at that point, I'm arguing with my husband. My youngest son is moving out of the house. My whole life is in chaos. So I started talking to caregivers who took care of loved ones with dementia. I started finding out what was involved in it, what were some of the tips and techniques, and I started building it and started building it. All of a sudden, I had a binder and I had interviewed over 200 caregivers.
Oh,
I started putting it together. Then I wrote a book about it. And then I started thinking, this is such a global issue that we have going on right now. We've got to save the world. But I
yes, I
can't save the whole
love
world.
that.
I am going to save one person at a time.
There you
And
go.
that's the caregiver. And what we tell people is that, you don't have to be a caregiver. You can be a care hero.
Mm.
And when you start learning how to take care of them, you start getting past the overwhelm, you start going through get rid of the frustration and the anger. If you can do that, then you can be that true care hero that gives your loved one dimension, that gives them dignity, and you get dignity yourself. And how do you handle that? It's it's a total different world. You're mired in this twilight zone when you're taking care of a loved one with dementia. Sometimes you think you're crazy, but you're not. You're absolutely not. And you don't have to be alone in this either. And that's where I put together Parents Dementia Journey, was to say, okay, you don't have to be alone in this any longer. If you need to know how to give your loved one a shower when they say, I had one yesterday, and they haven't had one for 3 weeks, what are you going to do? What are you going to do? So that's what you do. What I have done is I've created this whole program that I work with everyone. And we just recently finished this wonderful course. I'm so proud of it. That course is self-paced, has many, many modules in it. It takes you from A to Z in dementia. It takes you to, how do you get them diagnosed? What do you do? Start logging, tag, you're it. What happens if you're diagnosed? If you're the one chosen to take care of the one that's diagnosed? What are the tools and techniques? One of the chapters is overcoming obstacles. One chapter is who, what, where, when, and how. We have a lot of different modules in there. And then what we do is we have code red calls. Code red calls We are doing it with people right now that if they sign up after they hear this, we give them 3 red code calls, and that means you can call us if you're at the height of your overwhelm, height of your chaos, call us. We'll walk you through it. And I'm really proud that we can do that because one person at a time, we're gonna take them from overwhelmed to calm and confident. And that's what we call our course, Calm and Confident.
Oh, that's, it's so important because, typically people are just thrown into this experience having no, of course, prior knowledge or typically, or awareness how to do something that they so want to do as well as they can because they love their parents, right? They love the person and they want to do right by them. But you are so right. It can, the overwhelm, the not knowing, the chaos that might come from this can take them out of that, love that they really want. And it can be just a little bit showing up in a way that they really don't want. And then they have to feel bad about themselves that they weren't patient and so forth. And I love that your training helps to set expectations, right? And to navigate and the fact that you researched 200 different healthcare, I mean, that is such beautiful dedication. And then just writing a book, right? To help those, to have something like you really have stepped up and took such action and quickly to make a difference, and how is that? Tell me how that is. Like, when people talk to you now, are they must be like so grateful for the help that you're giving them? And what does that look like for your clients?
Well, for our clients, our first one was a man actually, and he was taking care of his mother.
Mhm.
And what Tim said, "I no longer feel alone."
Oh,
You know, I adore Kara, she's become a friend to me. Kara, she said, "Oh my god, you're a goddess of dementia."
yeah. Oh,
And, and Cynthia, I mean, Cynthia, what happened was Cynthia came to me, she was just overwhelmed with everything, and she thought her life was over. Absolutely thought her life was over, that this all she had to do the rest of her life. It was nothing. And we were able to take her and guide her through. Within a few days, we started taking away some of the heaviness out of her, the
yeah.
frustration, the anger. And within 2 weeks, she was laughing. She
Mhm.
was, she said, "Catherine, you saved my life." And I said, "No, I
Oh,
didn't save your life. I helped redirect it. I
I love that.
redirected it."
Hmm.
One of the big pieces we had to work with her on is grieving for the parent she lost.
That's what I was just about to ask you that because that is such an important thing. It is a loss that needs to be addressed, and yet the
Yes,
person has to show up right away to take care, and so they get lost in the mix a little bit, their feelings.
exactly. Well, and that's the thing. We have a module on grieving for your lost parent, but learning to love the new person.
Yeah,
The new
oh,
person is very different. You're in charge now. They can't be in charge.
mhm.
They don't know what to eat. They don't know how to cook. They don't, all these little nuances that they could do before they can't, and you're in charge. And taking over from grieving for the one you lost to learning to love the one you have now, that's huge in
That's huge.
getting through that journey that you're going through.
Mm. Yeah, it's such a beautiful way of recognizing the loss, acknowledging it, validating it, but then a positive spin on, okay, so here we are. Let's just make the beautiful new beginning that we have and make the most out of it and be open to experiencing a new form of that love, just changed a bit. So that's probably one of the most important things for people to go through, and then they're ready. I imagine that kind of gets them ready for the job at hand, so to speak, where they're okay, now I have a way of seeing it, feeling it, and moving on to the next stage, and helping and being proud to be of service to their parents, right? The
Well, and,
pride that
and
must
that's
come.
I believe in the circle of a life. My
Yeah,
mother took care of me when I was
that's
born.
mhm.
She carried me for 9 months in her body, and now
There
I'm
you
going to
go.
take care of her.
Yes,
Fair is
yeah.
fair in this life. And
That's
one of the things I talk about too is that it takes a village to raise a child. Well, it takes a village to raise a loved one with dementia.
yes, exactly. It's like you parent the parent, basically. It's like that whole thing of switching roles.
Mhm.
And it is beautiful. And that's the thing. We have to be willing to accept that life is transitional, right? And it
Correct.
is always in flux and it's always changing. And it's very difficult, of course. Change is not easy on anybody. And so
Mhm.
you're setting them up with a skill set to properly manage that change for the best version for themselves as well as their loved ones, right? So I just,
Correct. Correct.
yeah. Okay. So tell me, like, now, like, you know, you're getting your message out there. We're going to get your message out there, but it must be so joyful to you to see what started as your experience turning into an idea, turning into, all the research to put it together, turning into putting it out in the world, like with your book and now with your program. That must really feel amazing when you look back and where you started and now where you are, and your journey is just continuing, right? It's just,
Well, it is, and it's just it's awe-inspiring. To me,
yeah,
it's fun, it's everything. It's like giving birth to a child. It's taking it and growing it, understanding how do we talk to people. We hold workshops once a month to talk about one of the issues. The biggest challenges is hygiene, getting your loved one a shower.
yeah,
That's the biggest one. And the other one that does so well is old age or dementia, facts or myths, and the levels of dementia. Those are
mhm,
two really hot topic webinar not webinars, but meetings that we go workshops we do, and that's I've been able to do that, and I can do that because we're different than a lot of other people is we have the experience. We have the hands-on experience. Myself and Marcia, who works with me, she has 18 years of experience working with loved ones with dementia. Her mother, her husband. I take care of my mother and my mother-in-law too now for 2 years.
wow, yeah,
So, we have a lot going on, but there's such a big issue around the world and how we're communicating it. We're usually doing it by the workshops. We do a lot of social media advertising. We have a lot of referrals now. That's really growing. So we have a good system going, but I want to make sure that every care hero out there knows that they're not alone anymore, that
yeah,
they have support, that
yeah.
they have the ability to get rid of the stress and the anxiety that they have and turn it around to being there calm and confident. That's what I want for them. That's
Well,
my whole
that's your mission. Well, what you're doing is creating empowerment, because and it's so true, because I even get it for like women business owners. When you first start out on any type of business,
Mhm.
and it's let's say it's a home business, and your family and your friends don't understand what you're doing, and you're not out there in the public sharing a company space where you have colleagues. You're just sitting in your own little office at home because you have a passion for something, and you can feel all alone. And then some of the hurdles, that's actually why I'm writing this book, Success Stories, is because I want other women business owners to realize, hey, you have feelings of imposter syndrome sometimes, you're afraid to go visible, you're not alone, there's a community, we are all getting that. And what that does is it just allows everyone to just, oh, okay, this is the
Mhm.
norm. I have peers that get it, so I don't necessarily need to rely on my family or friends to understand why I'm building this business, because I have others that get it because they're in the journey with me. And what you're saying about having them know they're not alone, that is the biggest best step to self, to kind of returning to self in a good way and feeling empowered. And just, yeah, I love this community that you've created. It's so necessary and so valuable to everybody. So all right, I'm going to switch gears. Oh wait, before I do that, share again your website so people can find you.
Yes. Our website, as with everything, our book, our course, and everything else, it's parentsdementiajourney.com. So
Perfect.
www.parentsdementiajourney.com.
Okay, I love this. So you heard that. Get this out to all if you are someone that is needing this assistance, or you know, family, friends, anybody, colleagues that is going through having this experience with someone going through dementia, please get in contact, because, just do that. It's the best way for everybody to get that help that's needed. So, okay, so we're going to go into some success questions now.
Okay.
And they're more based on you building your business and, all of the things. So, the first one I'm going to start with today is basically what um what is your morning routine? Do you have any empowering routines that you have to do every day to feel like you're setting yourself up for success?
I start my day with CEO time. CEO time is at least an hour, sometimes 2 hours that I check my emails. I apply to possibly hot podcasts. I respond to things that are coming up. Later in the day, I will record videos if I have to record videos and things like that, because those take a little bit different dynamic for me. So that's what I'll start out with. If I can start with my CEO time first thing in the morning, I've got my day planned out. I also, the night before, go look at my calendar so I can kind of set my brain up to what I have coming the next day. But then when I get up in the morning, I get my coffee. I may even sit down in my pajamas and I will sit there and I will start my CEO time. And that's critical to my day, that I get that CEO time. And I do it 7 days a week.
I
I
love
don't
that.
just do it Monday through Friday. I do it 7 days a week because I need that time to organize my brain.
Yes, I love that. Okay, what's one of your tricks to being consistent? Because this is a little bit off the mark. I know a lot of women, we have good routines that we know are beneficial for us, and for the most part we're pretty good at sticking to the consistency, but then sometimes we just go, and stop, and then we have to get back. So how do you, because 7 days a week, that is really inspiring and definitely consistent. So how do you keep yourself on track?
I It's important to me because I've seen what happens when I don't do it.
Okay.
That's what keeps me on track. I've
Mhm.
seen what happens when I don't do it, because
Okay.
I've been working on this business now for 3 years,
Mhm.
and, first 2, I didn't do that, and I started getting into this pattern, and I found that it worked,
Yeah.
and so it's a proven success to me, so I go and do it. I go and do it. And also, it's the it's quiet in the house.
Mhm.
Quiet in
Mhm.
the house, everybody's in bed, the dogs are
Yep.
sleeping, the husband's sleeping, the dementia mothers are sleeping, everybody's asleep.
Yeah.
So it's
Yes.
if I try to do it at 1 o'clock in the afternoon, there's all these things going on. There's dogs barking,
That's
there's
right.
dogs wanting this, mothers needing this, feeding
Yes.
everybody, and, so for me, first thing in the morning, early, that's gonna
I
do it for
love
me.
that. I love that. And it already sets you feeling so proud of yourself that you have an energy that you go into the day with. It's really a great thing. And I do a lot of my creative energy in the morning work too. Definitely my pajamas. That's one of the benefits, right? Of being your own boss. So keep it cozy and be
There
creative.
you
So
go.
okay, let's see. Do you believe that you can manifest your desires, and do you have a certain way that you do this for yourself?
Um, I do. I think about it, I envision it. For me, I envision it. Um, I'm not a creative, artistic person, so I don't put it on paper because that will hold me back. I'm going to do it in my mind. I know what I want. I set clear goals for myself, smart goals.
Yeah,
So I know where I want to be, and that's my whole focus is getting me to there. So when I'm manifesting what I want, I kind of I kind of back it in. I say, okay, where do I want to be? What is it I want to be? Why do I want it? How do I want it? Who, what, where, when, and how? And then I start engineering it back. And that's where I'm at the phase I'm in right now.
I love that. And it's so true. Like to see the end and then work backwards and in smaller chunks so you don't get overwhelmed, right? And yeah, that's very important. Um, so one of my favorite questions is, if you could only choose one answer, what is the number one way that building your business has empowered you, and why would you encourage other women to do the same for themselves?
Building my business. Gosh, there's so many pieces to it.
Yeah.
I believe that the workshops have really done it. For me, I usually get at least 100 people to sign up, except for in July. July, people are on vacation. They don't sign up. But the rest of the year, I'm usually anywhere from 90 to 125 signed up. Attending can be anywhere from 20 to 50. And that's how A, I get more onto my mailing list, my email list. B, I meet more people around the world because my last workshop, 27% were the US and the rest were other countries.
Wow, that's
70%
great.
were other countries.
Whoa,
Okay,
it's usually the other
me
way
amazing.
around, right? Yeah.
Yeah, I know. It's
Wow.
it's just absolutely mind-boggling to me. So that I would say it would have to say the workshops. Doing the workshops 1 hour a month.
Mhm.
I've got 2 of them that I promote, and I've got them set up. It doesn't take much time to do it. At some point, I may just automatically do them, but right now I'm trying to get the touch and the feel of everyone that comes.
Yeah, yeah, and that helps you understand what the big needs are, and then you can kind of like hear it and help solve more problems, right? So, another question I'm curious about is a lot of women when they're starting their business, they're encouraged to do Facebook Lives and be visible, and
Mhm.
that can be jarring, to get over the fear of being visible. How did you have that experience being online for the first time, and how did you overcome your fears if you had any?
My fear, well, first, my fear was doing videos. I mean, first I was told, "Oh, set up a course." What are you crazy? I can't do a course. I can't talk to my computer. I'm not doing that. And
Yeah.
that was it. And then I was told to do lives. And then a guy jumped in the middle of the picture naked dancing. And I thought, I'm not doing lives anymore. I don't like this. It was bad.
Really?
And so I just said, lives, I don't need to do lives. So I went down the path of setting up a course and I went down the path of doing workshops. And that's how I got onto those paths and got away from the lives because my experience was not positive.
Okay, but like just being like right now, like on a podcast, like for someone else, or an interview like this might be let's just pretend that someone's going to go, they want to get on a podcast because they
Mhm.
want to get their word out about their business, but they're nervous. Like,
Okay. Well, it's
what would
normal
you,
to be nervous. It's
yeah,
okay to be, but you got to put one foot in front of the other. You got to try one. Well, I still remember my first podcast. I was nervous as all get out. I was like, I thought I was gonna throw up. I mean, I was so nervous, and I got this wonderful man who took me through it, and I ended up laughing and joking and having a good time, and I was just talking to another cohort recently, and she said, "Oh my gosh, I'm gonna do my first podcast. I'm so terrified." I said, "Join the club. It's okay. If you're
that's right.
not, then I think you got a problem. So
There
it's
you
okay to
go.
be
Yeah.
nervous. You just gotta put one foot, and even if it didn't go well, who cares?
Yes.
It's okay. It's okay. So my
Yes.
words to someone trying it new first time, you just got to take the first step and do it. Once you get the first one done, it gets easier with each one. And I've done probably 20 podcasts now, and I love them. And they can be
Yes.
all different issues and this and that. And for me, it's fun. It's fun now.
Absolutely. Okay, tell me about if you have you had coaching to help you with your mindset and business growth? And would you recommend that others get coaches?
Um, yes, hands down, yes.
Yeah,
And I wouldn't have gotten to where I am now if I hadn't had coaches. My first one was more mindset. I don't need the mindset now. I know what I gotta do. I know how to motivate myself. I know, but I gotta know how to market better. I have a master's in business, an MBA. Woo! That taught me a lot of stuff, but that was a long time ago, and marketing was very different then than it is
yeah,
now.
sure.
And so for me, a coach, it's going to take you so much further than you can take yourself. They're going to help you not do some of the mistakes that you're going to be making, and they're going to spiral you up faster with a coach.
Yes. And they can see things that we can't always see in ourselves, right? Yeah. Sometimes we
Yes.
don't have that objectivity and we can't understand our blocks, but they can see it. They're trained to see it. And then they can help you define it, pull it out and see it and then fix it. And it's amazing because once you have that breakthrough, really, you just kind of never go back to it. You are just
Well,
on a new path.
you
Yeah.
don't, and that's the beauty of it. My first coach was mindset. Then they taught. I went into a group to start my course, and then I springboarded it up, and now I just released a brand new course, even better, twice as many modules, and It's amazing if I may say so myself.
I am sure of this. Oh my goodness. I love this. I love that, here you are, something comes into your path, you decide, you do all the research, but you don't stop there. You just wrote a book, right? Like, so for most, for many, this might be like, whoa, like a gigantic thing. How did you just come to be like, I'm just going to write a book? Like, what, talk to me about how you allow yourself, give yourself those permissions. Don't stand in your own way or block yourself or self sabotage. What does that look like? How did you get to this place? Like what you are creating, like you are creating gigantic leaps and creating them and making it happen. And it seems like you're just like, I'm going to do that and you get it done. So like how did that happen? Like what's your process?
For me, I am an entrepreneur at heart. I am not, I have created another business. It's very wildly successful and I put my heart and soul into it. So I've experienced the fact that, try new things, get rid of the ones that don't work and try another new thing. Keep trying new things and new things and new things. And in my other business, I would try 3 new advertising techniques a year. I'd keep what worked and I'd get rid of the other. Next year I'd do 3 more. And because I only had so much money to spend, and then from within myself, I'm a I'm a very strong goal-oriented person. When I set a goal up, I'm gonna work everything I can to get there. And I'm a great believer in the fact that sometimes I'm gonna stumble.
Yeah.
And part of that learning is failing.
Yes.
And it's not to be embarrassed. No, I'm gonna fail sometimes. I'm
Yes.
gonna do something silly. It's not gonna work. But you know what? Dust yourself off. I believe strongly you make the best decision you can make today with the information you have. And you get more information tomorrow and you find out that's wrong. That's okay. You got more
Yes.
information. Change it.
That's right. Yes. I love it. You have a natural tendency to put the positivity into the equation, and that really changes the dynamic of everything, right? And how you go
It
forward.
does.
Yeah.
I was in the corporate world for years and but didn't work that way. And I'd say if I had it myself, I'd do it different. And
Mm.
I have it myself, and I don't work with any corporate world anymore. I mean,
Yes.
I'm on my own. I have an assistant. I, I'm living what I want to do. I'm making a difference in the world.
And doing it in the way you want to do it, living. That's one of the benefits of being your own business owner is the time freedom, the creativity freedom, the just focusing on what is the big calling and being able to figure out how to show up for that, right? And get it
Yeah,
delivered. Yeah.
well, that's the thing. And so, you know, it- yeah, do I when I get to my goal of where I want to be, I want my husband to retire. I want to do some travel. All those things, I know that, but the most important is I know where I got to get right now. I know
Yeah.
where I have to be. I know what I have to do. I just have to do it. And that's what gets me plugging along. Having that goal of knowing where I need to get. Where do I need to be to make everything happen? It's extra stuff out there that I'm
Yeah.
why I want to do it is that's there. But here I'm here, want to make my family life better.
Love this. Love this. And it sounds like you do it in ways that are kind of compartmentalized so you can avoid that overwhelm. And so you kind of look at what's directly in front of you that needs to be accomplished, but not seeing, oh my God, the gigantic mountain where it can just make you freeze, basically.
And that's true. That's very true. I can see the forest and I can see the trees, and
Yeah.
not everybody can do that, but I can
Yeah.
see that. I can put the trees away today. I'm
Yes.
gonna work on, I'm gonna work on just the dirt today.
Yeah. Oh, I love
And
it.
and that's kind of what for me is I build it, build it, build it. And I'm determined. I am so determined this is gonna work so
I
good.
love that. That's why you've been blessed to do what you're doing because you are able to show up and be there and deliver what the people need for this circumstance in their life. So I wanted to ask you one like final question. It's off
Uh-huh.
of the list, but how sometimes when the women are building their businesses and they're trying to think of what they want to put out there into the world, sometimes they can't fully connect with it. Like they're trying to figure out what is unique for them to do. Do you have any advice for how they could get really in touch with themselves and what their purpose, their mission, their offer is supposed to be? Like, how do they connect with that so they're not just like, maybe hearing things that other people are telling them and then trying to do what they're being told and putting something out there because they think that's what they're supposed to do, but they're detached, their authenticity, it's not holistic enough and they can feel
Yeah.
it, but they don't know how to tap into getting into that place of their self.
Well, what I've done in the past is I've sat down and made a list of what did I do well? What did I not do well? You know, what when I read it, go back and read it, does it make me happy? Does it get me excited that I'm going to be doing something? A lot of it is what's inside you,
Yeah,
what feels good. Because if you're going to go down this path of creating a business that is you're going to be working on 5 days a week, 7 days a week, 3 days a week, whatever, it's gotta be something that makes you happy. If it's hard to do, you're not gonna do it very long, but do something that makes you happy, that makes you feel good. Is it being a life coach and helping other people? Is it teaching people to sing? Is it whatever it is that gives that passion that comes from within yourself? That's what's gonna be important for you.
that's
And
right.
almost anything you can take and create it into a business. I mean, I am a serial entrepreneur. I'm gonna be doing this for a long time.
Yeah.
But I look around and I see things from my vision. I see, oh, you can make a business from this, you can make a business. Now, my
Yes.
husband, he works for somebody, don't give him a business.
Yeah,
But
my husband's the same. Yeah.
and I love it because I can be going down the street and I can think, "Oh my god, you could do business with that. You could do business with that." But it's gotta be something that makes you feel good.
Yes.
It feels like
Yes.
you're making a change in the world or whatever it is that's important to you.
Hmm.
Is it that it's important to you that you make an impact in the world or that you make an impact in your family or you make an impact with friends or you make life better for other people that you see out on the street? Whatever it
Absolutely.
is, if that makes you feel that's the passion in the heart,
That's
then
right.
go
And
with
that's so important because when you think about all the ways, like if your focus is just on making money, there's
it.
a
Mhm.
lot easier ways to make money than building out your own business. and and that's the whole, there's a million other ways to make a lot of money. You don't necessarily have to do this. So if you are doing your own business, it really is meant for you to it's meant to be a form of your best self-expression that is in service to others. And once you kind of narrow that down, I also always think like the process, like the actual building of the business or all of it, is I like to ask this question now all the time. One of my coaches kind of coined it, but she would say, what is the most joyful way that I can do this? Because there
Mhm.
are like frameworks and things that you have to do in your business. And not all of them maybe are your cup of tea, but even if it isn't your cup of tea, you can find a way to make it even more enjoyable. And so, like, what is the most joyful way I can do this? And you can take it to the personal side. What is the most joyful way I can exercise? What is the most joyful way I can clean the house? Whatever it might be. I think if we give ourselves the chance to ask ourselves, hey, I want to be happy because if I'm happy, others will be happy. And so it is my job to make sure that I'm enjoying this process. So I love what you said about it has to make you happy because money's not enough to hold you. And
No,
for
it's
women
not, it's not. And,
especially,
one of the things I do when I first thing my eyes when they open up, I think, "Is it a good day or is it a bad day?" Personally, I want it to be a good day, and I'm going with the good day.
there you go. That's right. You
And,
choose joy.
I choose. I mean, I'm gonna have things come up, but it's how I handle them. And,
That's right.
for the most part, I'm pretty good. And if I don't, then I go sit on the back patio with the dog and read a
Yeah.
Kindle or do something to
Hmm.
relax me.
Hmm.
Take a few
Hmm.
minutes of meditation, whatever
Yeah.
you can do to recenter you,
That's
because we're
right.
gonna have upheaval in our life.
Yeah.
Absolutely, it's gonna
Yeah.
happen. How
Yeah.
you handle.
It's so true. And I also like, I don't specifically think of it like that. Get the starts with a P, 80-20 rule. But I like
Yeah.
that because it's like if I'm on task 80% of the time and I, veer off 20%, whether it's exercise or diet or business, okay, I'm human. Give myself some grace. That's okay. And so we have to get past the idea of being perfect. That is, nobody wants that.
Oh,
People want
absolutely.
authenticity, right? Yeah,
Absolutely.
exactly.
Absolutely.
Oh my God.
That's the thing that holds entrepreneurs back the most is trying to do it perfectly.
Yeah,
Go with it. You
that's
might
right.
stumble, but pick it up and fix it.
That's right.
My workshops are fantastic now, but in the beginning, oh, we forgot to one time we forgot to share the slides.
Yeah,
One time we forgot to admit some people.
yeah,
All these different things that we do, and we've
they
learned
happen.
from it so that
Yes.
we don't do it anymore. We have a checklist now. Do this, 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 this. Make sure it happens.
Well, it's kind of interesting that I love that we're talking about this perfectionist thing because when I first started creating like my videos, like my interviews, I wanted them to be so perfect that I would spend hours like at the end editing it because you could see me put my glasses on so I could see where to stop and there's that
Yeah,
little
yeah.
lag. And then I just got like, you know what? That's such a time consuming, unenjoyable task. Is it necessary? And then I realized, well, wait a second. I'm trying to tell women to just show up and be themselves and be authentic. And I use my like, so-called imperfection so they have
Huh?
permission to show up
Yeah,
imperfectly because showing
absolutely.
up matters more than being perfect. Because if you're so focused on perfect, you will not show up. Or if you do show up, you're going to drive yourself crazy and spend extra time editing things that you give people permission when you show up imperfectly. And then they're like, okay, she's not perfect and she still has an impact. So I can, it's inspiring. So now I don't even touch, if I mess up, if the doorbell rings, if I just
Mhm.
let it be because this is the reality. This is the real world. And who decided we had to be perfect? Where'd that even come from? This is unnecessary. So just
Mhm.
as long as you're doing well by people and serving them in a way that makes their lives better,
Mhm.
that's all. That's all
I
you have
think
to do.
people want people want to be heard. They
Yeah,
want to be helped. They want to
yeah,
be they want you to listen
that's right.
and that's the world has changed since COVID. It
Yeah,
has truly changed. But we don't have to have a life that it's so hard and it's a drudgery and it's miserable. We can lift ourselves up from it.
absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Two of my favorite questions is uh how easy can I let this be? And what is the most joyful way I can do this? And I tell you, they're simple questions, but they really redirect your whole
Mm.
focus and what thoughts come in
Yeah.
for you.
Yeah.
And it's really powerful stuff, really. And you get a lot of insight quickly. And then you get a lot of energy and motivation to just kind of march
Mhm.
forward with what you're doing in the world. So, oh my goodness, I could talk to you for hours. I love so much that you are here. I love, how much I am so thankful you are showing up in the world in this way to help others. It is such a big, big deal. And it's kind of like thank you for your service because you are helping so many people. And I just hope that I can get my whole goal is get your work out there to as many people. Please, all of you that are watching this, share this interview, share it with your friends, share it with your family. We all need to help each other. We all need to be there for each other. And this is just one of the most beautiful, helpful businesses I have come across that really serves an absolute need and helps people in the most dignified, beautiful, joyful way possible. So thank you so much for doing what you're doing and for being here and inspiring all of my people that are listening and you've offered so much good wisdom here in this interview, so I just want to really say thank you for that.
And if anybody's afraid of podcasts, see how nice this went? It was fun.
There you go, exactly. So just go for it and do this now. Watch, even the way I'm gonna shut it down, you can tell it's okay, it's imperfect. So anyway, all of you just keep going for your dreams, see the big picture, know your big why, be of service, and just it's okay, fail forward, just keep failing forward. If you're not failing, like they say, you're not trying hard enough. So just get up, dust yourself off, and you don't have to be perfect, and just keep going for it. So until next time,
Thank
it's such a pleasure. So thankful that you've been here sharing. So thank you for this beautiful interview. Okay, I'm gonna